6th Street, Dr. John Watson speaking. Susan? What's the matter? Why are you crying? Okay, just calm down. What is the matter? Where's his den? Okay, calm down, Susan. Just stay still. I will be there immediately. Okay, bye. I don't have time to explain. I need to meet you at the cannabis factory. I'll meet you in the West End. Let me go! Let me go!
Feeling, Shirley, but I simply cannot allow you to carry out an investigation on your own friend. It's against Scotland Yard rules.
And yet I'm not a police detective. I'm not even employed by Scotland Yard.
But still, as a detective, you cannot, and I repeat, cannot, carry out an investigation on your missing friend. And by no means matter how desperate you may be, do not smoke the tobacco.
I wasn't intending to.
Nonsense, Shirley. I saw your gaze, looking down at your tobacco pipe. Now, whilst I deal with Dr. Watson's case, you need to find something to keep you occupied. Do you have any cases to solve?
Many. Too many, in fact.
A number?
104. But they're all such petty little cases, like who stole Grant's savings? Has my boyfriend been having an affair with another woman? I'm sure people get me mixed up with Jeremy Kyle.
Well, if they're offering money, then solve one. Keep Dr. Watson's disappearance off your mind. Nobody likes a burden. Especially you. The money you can get off them can go towards paying your bills at Baker Street.
I can cope.
No, you cannot. You only cope when you have tobacco at your hand. And this time, you don't. So for goodness sake, solve a case. If not for me, then for your health.
Very well.
Do you have one in mind?
Yes, a letter arrived this morning asking for my services. It rather caught my attention.
And what is it about?
Missing husband. He went into town on Monday and not been seen since. That is 4 whole days. Not even a contact, not even a phone call to his wife.
Interesting. Do that. It should keep you occupied for a couple of hours. Where is the case located at?
In the city of York, up in the north.
From the north? Well, I wouldn't mind you smoking a tobacco now. It's far more safe than going up north.
It is of the nice part of Yorkshire. Only 31% are of the rough sort. It is the husband of a Miss St Clair. She said he was a very respectable and honourable man.
That's what they all say.
But he is. He once was a journalist for the Guardian newspaper. He moved up north a couple of years ago with his wife and 2 children. He initially went on Monday for some Lego bricks for the children's birthday, and, as I say, he never returned.
Lego, you say? I remember we used to play Lego. Remember?
Unfortunately. Anyway, as I was saying, Mr. St Clair left on Monday morning to get some Lego bricks for their children's birthday. Shortly after he left, Miss St Clair, his wife, received a phone call to pick up a parcel in the post office in the town, and so she had to go and collect it.
And why could she not have asked her husband to pick it up whilst he was in town?
He had left his mobile phone at home, so Mrs. St Clair had to go and get the parcel. So she went into town, and this is where the case begins.
When Miss St Clair got her parcel from the post office, she started walking back to her car, which was parked half a mile away. She went through a shortcut street, where she got a terrible fright. Startled by the dogs, she looked around and saw her husband looking down at her.
Neville?
Miss St Clair was adamant to find out why her husband was there, and until this day he has not returned home.
Very intriguing, Shirley.
Oh, it gets better. Once she found a policeman to enter the building, she went upstairs, and her husband was nowhere in sight.
He escaped while she was finding a policeman? Perhaps?
Perhaps, yes. But there is some evidence to prove that Neville was there, and that is, of course, the Lego.
I see. Anyhow, I must dash. I have a meeting at the Diogenes Club at 1:30. Am I to keep you in the know about Dr. Watson?
Yes, please do.
Smashing. Enjoy the case up north, and for your own protection, take a weapon.
I was assuming that your friend Mr. John Watson would have been with you, Mr. Holmes.
He is busy, but I'm sure he would have wanted to be here.
I had a room made up for him, but not to worry. At least you're here, that is the main thing.
Indeed.
Right, before you start asking me questions, I would like to ask you some. And I want you to give me simple, plain, straightforward answers.
Very well.
Do you, in your heart of hearts, think that my husband Neville is still alive? Frankly, I am not hysterical, nor am I going to faint. So do you think he's still alive?
Frankly, I do not. No,
You think he's dead?
I do.
Murdered?
Now, I didn't say that, but perhaps.
And on what day do you think he met his death?
On Monday.
Then how do you explain I received a letter from him today? Friday?
You are aware that this letter could have been written on Monday and only posted yesterday.
Of course, but I need to have some sort of hope that he's in fact still alive.
Yes, I suppose. Now, Miss St Clair, could you recap the moment you entered the building with the policeman? Was it 2 policemen and Inspector...
Lestrade, Inspector Lestrade, he was the one that told me to put my case over to you. He said you was the best.
Did he really?
Yes. Do you know him well?
Well, I would not say we are friends, more like old acquaintances. Now please, can you continue with the recapping? I need to re-examine the facts.
Very well. And I saw Neville up at the window, so I went to find a policeman.
And the time between seeing your husband and fetching the policeman was...
About 20 minutes. I told Inspector Lestrade everything on the way there. He entered the room on his own, in case it would have been unsafe for me.
Sir Neville? St Clair? Please! Come out!
Please don't arrest me, sir.
What are you doing down there?
I thought you were coming to arrest me.
Why? Have you committed a crime? Get up. You're coming with me to the police station. You're under arrest.
When the inspector returned downstairs, he brought a beggar with him. He was called Boone. He looked awful. Looked like he had not washed for over a week. Apparently he had committed a crime.
What kind of crime?
I am not sure. The inspector told me he couldn't tell me because of confidentiality. Although I believe the man is still in custody.
I see. Now, you wrote in your letter that your husband's coat was found on the street when you returned.
Yes, I found it myself. I recognised it immediately.
And you found something in the pockets.
Yes, £100 and a coffee voucher.
Does your husband usually carry this amount of money around with him?
No, he just usually uses his credit card for any purchases.
And you are 100% sure that it was your husband's coat?
Without a doubt, yes.
I see. Now let us re-examine this letter. May I read it out loud?
By all means.
Do not be frightened. There is a huge error which may take some time to rectify. Wait in patience. Neville. Written with a HB pencil either on a fine hard-cover book or an oak table. Posted first class by a man with a dirty thumb. Is the writing on the envelope your husband's writing?
No.
But the writing on the letter is?
Yes, without question. Neville always writes like that in a rush.
Whoever sealed this envelope has a gum disease. There are speckles of blood along the edge of the fold. Did your husband have a gum disease?
No, not that I know of anyway.
This is certainly a most intriguing case. Did you say your husband had a love for pigeons?
He does. Yes, we keep some of them in the huts in the garden. Sometimes he spends more time with his pigeons than he does me.
May I go and see these huts?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I would like to visit the huts on my own if you would not mind.
Certainly.
Neville St Clair, what have you been doing?
It's been quite a while, Mr. Holmes. How have you been? Still living in London?
I'm okay. And yes, I'm still living at 221B. London, I feel, is the heart of this country. I would go so far as to say as that I love it there.
Me and the missus might be moving down there. My contacts say there's a promotion on the cards. Fingers crossed it might be me.
Best of luck with that.
Where's your friend, Dr. Watson?
Oh, he's, detained in London.
I see. It's strange not seeing you and him together.
Yes. Anyway, this Boone fellow.
Yeah, he was the only guy at the scene, so he must have committed the murder.
And what was the motives of the killing?
We don't know yet. Boone's remaining silent.
What about all the money in the coat? What did you think of that?
Ha! Not entirely sure. Must have been for private banking elsewhere.
Perhaps. Now let us imagine the scene. Boone kills St. Clair. He then removes St. Clair's coat and throws it out of the window. Let's say he wants it to keep warm if he is a homeless person. He then has 20 minutes before Miss St. Clair comes with the policeman, so therefore he disposes the body within that time.
But where's he store it? We searched the entire building, and we didn't find a thing.
Perhaps he No, that won't be it.
We found Boone. He was hiding in a cupboard. Maybe he was hiding something in there. The body.
If he did store the body there, then he wouldn't hide there as well. It would bring too much attention to the area.
Maybe we should search the building again. We may have missed something.
Would be a waste of time. If Boone had a partner in crime, he would have got rid of the evidence by now anyway.
True, we should be keeping Boone in custody until the court case is issued. I sort of feel sorry for him. I can't imagine what it's like living on the streets.
And yet you are missing the obvious, Lestrade. If Boone is a homeless person, then what was he doing inside a building?
Fair point. I never thought.
Elementary.
I had traced the call as to the whereabouts that Dr. Watson called you from when he was attacked. It was just outside he and his wife's house on Silk Street. Also, from the CCTV cameras, a black van was speeding away. I've got Peterson to track back who the van belonged to, but it may take a couple of hours.
Excellent news.
But at least it's a step closer to finding out where John has been taken. So, how's the case in York going? Good, I hope?
It's going quite well, actually, yes. Although it is harder than I thought. On the points I've got, I can't see an overall pattern.
I am sure you will figure it out. Knowing you will have this solved in the next hour. Especially if John was with you. Why not ask yourself, what would he say to you if he was in the room right now?
He probably would say something unrelated to the case, such as, I don't know, let me sleep.
Probably would. You are correct. So, what about this Neville guy? Do you think he's dead?
If he is alive, then where is he?
Down the pub where all rich men end up drinking their earnings? Father used to be like that before the war.
Yes. How is Father nowadays?
He's not getting any better. I do wish you'd come and see him sometime. And Mother. They both miss you terribly. In fact, why not come tomorrow? It is the Edinburgh Festival. We could all go out as a family.
I would prefer to conclude my case tomorrow and then go back to London.
Very well. Good night, Shirley.
Good night.
Holmes?
Lestrade!
Oh, what time is it?
6:30. Can you meet me at the police station at once? I have a little theory I want to test.
I suppose, yes.
Be quick, Lestrade. The game is afoot. Inspector Lestrade, may I introduce you to Neville St Clair?
I would rather do a prison sentence or run away than to reveal to my wife and kids what I've been doing all these months.
All is now revealed, Mr. St. Clair.
Then so be it. I was sent to a private school as a child. I studied politics and acting. On several occasions I took to the stage. And a few years later found myself working for the Guardian newspaper. One day my editor required me to write a series of articles upon what happens on the streets of London.
So you became a beggar?
It was the help of the experience to write my articles.
And your experiences as an actor must have proved invaluable.
Yes, exactly. I painted my face, and with a dark wig and appropriate clothing I sat in the busiest part of the town. and began to beg passerbys.
And you did quite well.
Indeed, yes. During one day I took £49 and 18 pence. I then wrote my articles from my editor, and I thought no more about it.
But
Well, one day when me and my wife bought the house in York, we got into some debt. She did not know, of course, so I had to find some way of getting the money together. What could I do? And then an idea came to me. I asked for 5 weeks holiday from my employer and took to the streets begging. After the 2 weeks I had reached half of my debt. After another 3 weeks I had paid it all back. And that is when I fell into the trap.
how much were you earning from writing the articles for The Guardian?
At least £100 per week, depending on how many articles wrote.
And I suppose that is much less than what you was earning from begging.
Yes, some days whilst begging I have got £100. That would be £700 per week, 7 times more than what I paid working for The Guardian. As you have probably observed, it is a gentleman's income, and so I used the money to put my children in private schools. I had the extensions built onto the house.
What about the building that your wife saw you in? Where does that come into your scheme?
I was privately renting the building. Every morning I would go there and change my scruffy clothes and go out begging. At the end of the day, I would return there and change back into my attire.
So every morning you would fall into the trap of being a beggar. Then every evening you will transform back into a gentleman.
Yes, precisely.
I see. Tell me about Monday.
Very well. I had finished my daily begging and returned back to the building. I was getting dressed when I heard a dog bark and then a female scream, so I looked out of the window. To my horror and astonishment, there was my wife in the street, her eyes fixed upon me. I quickly got dressed and once more became Boone, the beggar, and then I thought that there may be a search of the room, so I quickly got my coat and threw it out of the window onto the pavement on the street. I was still wearing my other clothes beneath my begging clothes. At that moment the police arrived, and the rest you know.
Why do you store the money you earn with your pigeons?
How do you know about that?
I searched the huts myself yesterday. I found it all.
Oh. Well, after my day's begging, I return home and feed my pigeons. Only I usually go into the huts, so I thought it was the best place to store the money until I had the chance to go and put it in the bank.
And why not just put it into a bank at the end of the day?
I could not visit the bank every day after begging. The bank would get suspicious, so I stored it in my huts until the end of the week, when I take it to the bank on a Friday afternoon.
And what about this letter? Who wrote on the envelope?
The person that owns the building in which I rent said he would post it for me when he had the chance.
And did he know that you acted as a beggar for the day?
Yes, I gave him 10% of my makings every week to keep him quiet.
What is his name?
I simply cannot say. He is a good man, Mr. Holmes.
I am afraid you have no choice. The man that owns that building owns several other buildings around the area in which he has committed a crime. As in those buildings there are cannabis farms. This man has been growing cannabis. Therefore we must know his name. So if you would please.
Lasker. His name is Lasker.
Thank you.
What happens to me now?
Well, that is solemnly up to Inspector Lestrade. He will decide whether you go to prison, end up doing community service, or makes you pay back all the money you took. He is in fact watching this whole conversation.
Ah, I see.
But there is one thing I want you to do.
Anything.
You must never beg on the streets ever again.
I swear on the Bible, I shall never do it again.
There are people out on the streets that need that money more than you. People who are actually homeless.
Of course. I am sorry.
Good day, Mr. St. Clair.
Well, after all these years, Holmes, you still have it. Well done. Another case closed.
Thank you, Lestrade. Maybe one day we shall work together again.
Mycroft Holmes speaking.
Mycroft,
Shirley, whatever is the matter?
never mind about me. Just trace back the call that I just previously had. Trace it back to its location quick.
But why?
Oh, just do it!
Very well.
Where is it?
The call was made from 52 Potter Lane.
Thank you. Back to London it is.